are interested in how to get what you want in college, keep listening. Because today, our experts are going to share the secrets of college success. Welcome to another edition of the McEnulty Method. I'm your host, Bill Vashwick, and I'm joined by financial experts Frank McEnulty and Colin Sorrell, who are here to give you the tools you need to create the future you want. Gentlemen, how are you?
Great, Bill. How are you?
I'm doing great. I understand that today you'll be discussing how folks can navigate college to get the most out of it. So, I just want to dive right in. Let's say I've made it to college. How do I decide on a major and or a career path? What should I do?
Yeah, Frank, I don't think I've ever even heard this story. I mean, I'd love to hear how you settled on choosing finance,
Well, at first I was going to be an accounting major. Actually, I was an accounting major. Everybody told me, you're really good with numbers, accounting's for you. Maybe listened a little too much to that, but I was like, okay, accounting sounds like a good career. So I was rolling along, I was in my third year of college, only had one accounting class left to take in my major, which I was going to take in my senior year. And I'm going, I don't like accounting. I want to do something else. But I really like my finance classes. And so I did finish my accounting degree because I only had one class left. And then senior year, I took as many finance classes as I could. And then I had to take a couple classes since I was getting another major. I had to pick up some other classes that I took the next year after I graduated. And so that's really how I ended up in finance. So really the first 2 years of college are about, all these general ed courses and that it's sort of for people to look around. Maybe you have an interest in something. You want to just see what it's like. You might find you really like it. And so in some ways, it's like a job. You don't know you're really going to like a job until you're doing it. And it's the same with a class. And I know, classes are work. They're not fun. But if it intellectually stimulates you, you look forward to the class versus, oh, I got to go here again. Maybe that's what you should be looking at doing because your mind's telling you, hey, this is for you. That other thing, that accounting thing that you thought you wanted to do, you really don't like it. Go into finance. Colin, what about you?
No, it's really interesting because I mentioned this on the last episode. I came to college, no idea, didn't know, but I applied and I was like, well, I got to pick something, and this was senior year of high school. I'm sitting there. I'm already a senior, so I'm just not paying attention, of course, in class. And so I'm like, I'm drawing or whatever. I was like, I'll do graphic design. That seems like a hot career. And that lasted for about a semester because to your point, I walked in and I was like, I don't, it's fine. It's fun as a hobby. Doesn't get me up to go to class. And I was thankful actually at Cal State Long Beach, they make you be a pre-major. So, you don't really fall too far behind going down too far down a path. But I made the decision, just really enjoyed finance. Even before when I was in high school, I was really into savings accounts and, I got a credit card as soon as I could and got my first job and investing and all that. So I took a couple of classes, really enjoyed it and figured, okay, this is something I can get up and enjoy to do. So Frank, to your point, I completely agree. I think, not being that far removed from it, I look back even now in my mid-20s and look back and everything I thought I knew and wanted to do when I was 18, I didn't. And so I think it's, take a year. You don't have to pick right away. Come in and you got to take all these GE classes anyway. See what interests you. and I would say, pick it what it is that interests you, because if it really interests you and you can get up and put your energy into it, the career will figure itself out. There's a lot of people who have very successful careers, and it may have nothing to do with their degree, but there's also a lot of people who, maybe they went into accounting because they're good with numbers and absolutely hate it.
Well, it goes back to a story just popped into my head. People always say do what you're passionate about, but you don't know what you're passionate about till you're doing it. And I'm going to give you and this example stuck with me my entire life, and you'll see what I'm talking about. When I was in Boy Scouts, I'm talking grade school, we went and did a tour of community hospital. I'm not sure why a bunch of Boy Scouts were going through community hospital, but my mother was a nurse, so it wasn't really that exciting to me. But there was another kid in our troop, and I remember to this day I can remember the look on his face when they put a stethoscope on him, and he listened to the person's heart and their breathing. A whole change came over him, and that was his career. He became one of the preeminent inhalation therapists in the United States. He was giving seminars all over the country, everything else, just because he found something that just fascinated him, that he was really involved. So yeah, you could become very successful in something if you're very passionate about it, and you just really want to be the best at it. The best at anything can make money. So look around, see what there is. Just because everybody you talk to says you should be an accountant because you're good with numbers, maybe you shouldn't. You're good with numbers. Maybe engineering's good with you. Maybe math. Maybe you want to be being a math teacher would be a great career. You don't know. You just don't know. And there's nothing to say you can't change. Even if, you're 3 years into your program and it's like, I got to change.
Oh, absolutely. I'll tell this story. My mom graduated from USC a long time ago, but graduated with a degree in foreign language. She wanted to work at one of the embassies, so that was her. She was very passionate about it. She enjoyed it. For a lot of reasons, that ended up not being where she ended up. She did a lot of things. By her mid-20s, she had gone back to school to become a teacher, and then decided that wasn't what she wanted to do. And at 30, went back for med school. So to your point, you can always change. And she built a successful 20, 30-year career as a doctor. So it's, what you do now, pick what you want to do, because you can always change.
The key is keeping a positive attitude, being curious, and just always looking towards moving forward. What can I do better at? How can I do better? To me, that's the key.
Those are great tips. In fact, they're terrific. But let's switch it up just a tiny bit. Now, there's always something going on around campus. There's all kinds of activities. So if you are there, what is the best method for networking like college?
Okay, I'm going to say something that's going to freak a lot of people out. You have to talk to people.
No, we can't do that.
It's not texting. It's not whatever, Instagramming. You have to talk to people. You don't, I teach here at Cal State Long Beach, and it's amazing to me. Walk into a class at the beginning, and until class starts, I got 20, 30 people in there. None of them are talking to each other. They're just all on their phones. It's like, you're in the class, you're in a finance class with other finance majors. Perfect opportunity to make a network. Also, join the clubs on campus and talk to people. Just joining and going is not a network. That's just joining and going. You got to get involved. You got to do stuff. And you know something? You'll actually enjoy college more because you'll have people you can talk to. You'll have people you can bounce ideas off of. You'll have people to work with. You'll have people to do things with. College can be a very lonely place if you don't have a group to work with. I mean, there's 40,000 people on this campus, and I'd say most of them are pretty lonely most of the time because they're in their own little world. They got their headsets on. They've got their phone in front of them. Talk to people.
No, I mean, I like the second thing you said. You know, that was probably my biggest regret from college was waiting until my probably end of my second year, third year to really start taking advantage of everything that's on campus. You know, I've always said sometimes you're paying maybe not as much for the education as you are for the community. You know, you're showing up with a lot of people who have a lot of different interests and backgrounds and their own networks, you know. And Frank, I know you have a lot of stories about this, you know, when you say just talk to people. You got to go to these classes with 30 other people, and you never know the person you sit next to. You never know what they're involved in, who they know, who the people they know, and where your next opportunity that you didn't even know was your passion or the thing you're going to turn into your career could come from. You know, I was actually at Frank, I think it was one of your classes. I sat down and somebody just happened to sit down next to me. And he was running the school law committee at the time. And, you know, he just kind of mentioned it, and I was like, oh yeah, you know, I recently took the LSAT or whatever. And he was like, you know, we're looking for somebody to be a part of the committee and teach the LSAT to students on campus. Would never have found an opportunity like that. And turned out I really enjoyed it and turned it into a job with a company that, you know, helps people prepare for these kind of standardized tests. Never would have happened if I didn't just talk to the person who just happened to sit down next to me in a class.
You know, that really is a perfect segue for our question of the day, which comes from Victor. Now, Victor wrote in, he said, I realize now how important networking is. I am 3 months from graduation and looking for employment, wishing I had networked more. What can I do to build a career from here? You guys have any advice for Victor?
You never heard that one before, huh, Frank?
No. I get on students all the time about that. Well, start talking to people. I mean, everybody's in the same boat as you are. They're all looking for jobs. They're all trying to accomplish something. And, you know, most colleges, most of the people that are there, they're pretty friendly to the other people that are there. You know, it's not a huge, you know, most colleges aren't sending people to Wall Street, so there's not this huge, you know, if I get the job, you can't have the job type of thing. It's like, you know, we're all in this together. Yeah, talk to people. Join the clubs. Just, yeah. It's never too late to start. It's better if you start early, but as soon as you realize you have to do it, then start doing it. Look, when I was in college, I had no clue. I had no mentors. I had nothing. I just figured I get good grades, I'm going to get a job. Okay? Well, it didn't work that way. My first job I got through a neighbor. It's we won't go into it, but it was a network with a neighbor. Okay? So you never know. You just got to start putting yourself out there. Your job when you're getting ready to get out of college is to sell yourself. You don't sell things by not talking to people. Colin's looking at me. How many times are you going to say that? But you gotta sell the product. You gotta tell people about yourself. You gotta make them interested. And so, yeah, is it late? Yeah, you only got 3 minutes. Get out there. Go to every meeting you can. Go to every job fair you can. We had a speaker the other day. They said, go to job fairs at other schools. They don't check IDs. Just full court press.
I think we can. I'm happy to leave it at that.
Well, good advice. Thank you, guys. And Victor, I hope that helped. Now, on our next episode, I understand you're going to reveal the secrets to handling a financial basic that is essential, but can cause a lot of stress for people. I'm talking about job hunting. For you listening, you don't want to miss. You're going to find out stuff that can help you get the job you want and or the job you need. And thanks for listening. If you want to learn more, you can check out other episodes at our YouTube channel at The McEnulty Method or wherever you're listening to this podcast.